there, it's Allison with Daily Outfit. How are you today? I'm so excited to be sharing my Power of Personal Style Masterclass with you today at Innovation at Home's Virtual Summit. Now, I just want to make sure that I'm recording. Yes, I am. Okay, and then I'm going to take you behind the scenes and share my screen with you so you can follow along. And here we are. Okay, let me get this dialogue out of the way. All right. Welcome to the Power of Personal Style Masterclass. I'm so excited to have you here today, and I also want to thank you for taking the time out of your life. I know that times are crazy right now, so I want you to think of the next half hour as a little bit of self-care, hopefully some inspiration. You'll learn some things and walk away with some actionable tips. So pat yourself on the back for taking the time to be with me today. And let's get into it. Okay, first of all, some housekeeping notes. Please feel free to take screenshots of the presentation. You can social the event. I always find it really interesting to hear and see what people find interesting about the presentation. You can hashtag personal style at Daily Outfit on Twitter and Allison_Daily Outfit on Instagram. Please tune your mobile phones to silent. Take the next half hour for yourself and put them face down so you can really focus. And then if you have any questions, I will be offering a free one-on-one session with me, and I'll be providing the URL at the end and telling you a little bit more about it at the end. But please feel free to write your questions down and save them for our one-on-one session because I'm happy to answer them for you. All right, so a little bit about me. As I said, my name is Allison, and as you can hear from my accent, I am American. But I was actually born in Brussels and lived in this house in London throughout my childhood. And the reason that I bring this up is because that makes me a third culture kid. I actually married a third culture kid as well. And my husband and I were lucky enough to be able to take our kids to the Netherlands and live there for 5.5 years. So they're third culture kids as well. Why is this important? What it means is that since childhood, I've been an observer. I've lived in different cultures and observed how people put themselves together for walking into those new situations. At the same time, I've also been the new girl many, many times. And I somehow, as a kid, intuitively understood how to make that work for me. I also saw my siblings who were not able to make that work for them and who instead chose to sort of fade into the background and just keep a low profile. And the difference that made for us in terms of how we felt about ourselves. And I've talked with my siblings about this, and so this is nothing that I'm revealing about them, but the truth is that for third culture kids, it really is a sort of outside in perspective, and that's the way I look at fashion and style. That also led me to write my book, The Formula for Personal Style, and hopefully, I'll bring that book to your shelves soon. Something I'm actually going to be working on during our COVID times. Now, the last photograph is a picture of my two munchkins a couple years ago when we first moved back to America, on the front steps of our house, about to go off to their first day of school. Now, this picture is kind of poignant for me at the moment because here in Maryland, the kids are not going to be going back to school for the first semester. So let me just say to all you parents out there, I totally feel you. It is a rough time, but let's all try to be grateful for those of us who have a roof over our heads, for those of us who have a safe home, and still can actually manage to hang out with our families. Then finally, I have my manifesto here, which is style has no size, it has no age, it has no color, it has no gender, and it has no religion. And the reason I felt it was really important for me to spell this out, and I've been in business for over 10 years now, is because when I started out, fashion was really for thin, blonde, rich, white women. And I wanted to open it up and, you know, toss the velvet rope out of the way to invite everyone to the party, because I feel that style is really a powerful way to express your authentic self. So let's get you there. Okay, my assumptions about you are that you're smart, that you're ambitious, that you're unbelievably competent, that you're talented, that you're creative, and maybe a little bit confused. Yes or no? I'm guessing you're confused because you're spending some time with me here today. And of course, confusion just doesn't feel good. It wastes your time. It's uncomfortable. Whereas on the flip side, confidence can expedite your journey. It does feel good. You feel comfortable in your own skin, and it highlights what you have to offer and allows you to step into your own particular spotlight and grow. And that is what I want for you. I should also mention that, like you, I am at home, and unless you're one of our health heroes, I've got my family around me. So if you hear some noises in the background, I've got a bunny over here, I've got some kids over there, so just try to ignore it. I'm going to, and we'll keep going. All right, so let's get you there. The first item is to just talk about our agenda, just to give you a sense of how I'm going to go through the presentation today. The first question is, what style got to do with it? And then the second, of course, is style as a primer. How can we use the things that we've learned from our study and science to really inform how we understand the importance of personal style? And then I'm going to try and make it easy for you with my personal style formula. So, what style got to do with it? Yeah, I'm hearkening back to my Tina Turner, because she was such a fabulous and strong woman who really stood in her power. She showed off her assets, her great legs, and really came alive in that period in her career when I was younger. And I just want to share with you a little bit about this concept of growth mindset and how you think of yourself and how you can change how you think of yourself, just like Tina did. She went through an abusive relationship and came out stronger. Really her career took off in a way that it hadn't before. So when I talk about growth mindset, and if you haven't read this book by Carol Dweck, it's really great. It's actually a pretty fast read, even though it'll completely change your world. And I highly recommend it. So when I read this quote, it really jumped out at me as a stylist. She says, 40% of your happiness is a product of how you see yourself and the corresponding choices that you make. And this just blew me away. 40% of your happiness is in how you see yourself and then the choices that you make. And when she says it that way, it totally makes sense. And of course, as a stylist, I have to ask, how do you see yourself? And I love this picture where it says, warning, reflections in this mirror may be distorted by socially constructed ideas of beauty. And, you know, I don't know if you know this, but in the dictionary definition of beauty, it actually has nothing to do with your physicality, but instead has to do with what gives pleasure. And when you think about beauty, art, or nature, or the body, it's what gives pleasure. But I'm guessing that when you think to yourself, am I beautiful? It's not about whether you give pleasure or not, but instead a very different calculus. So when you get up in the morning, are you looking in the mirror and thinking, oh, I am so beautiful, oh my goodness? Are you thinking, I'm so smart, I'm so funny, I'm so kind? Or are you focusing on your hair or that poochy tummy, or looking in your closet and thinking, oh, I got nothing to wear? And even more so now, where it just sort of feels like clothes have been canceled. And so many people are in their sweatpants and putting on their Zoom shirt just in case they have a presentation. But in fact, we can change the conversation you're having with yourself through the way you put yourself together. You truly can feel beautiful. You can feel confident. You can lean into your sophistication, your intelligence. And even if you're not feeling that ambitious right now, you can also dial that up with how you put yourself together. I did it this morning. You know, when I put on my presentation outfit, I knew I was good to go. So why does this work? Okay, so this is kind of interesting. Here's a woman that I know pretty well. These are two photographs of me taken on the same exact day. But in fact, when you look at them, I come across as a very different person depending on the picture that you're looking at. Now, some of you might be attracted to scary fashionista mean girl version of me. And some of you might think the other sort of more authentic version of me, the friendlier version of me, is more attractive, or vice versa. That's up to you. You get to choose. And the point is that you get also to choose the first impression that you make, because those first impressions are really, really important, and they happen like that. So I would argue that the garment that I'm wearing in each of these photographs kind of determines my closed off body language or my open body language, my smile or my dour, serious, intense look. Because it's how I feel in those different dresses and what those different dresses share with the people that are seeing me. The one is dark, it's body conscious, it's very formal. The other is still formal, but it's fun, it's lighter, literally. And it's got this, you know, lace overlay and this pink undertone, and I'm wearing it with this beautiful statement necklace. The hair is the same, the makeup is the same, but how I feel in the garment is different. How does this work? Okay, this is very interesting. So I want to share with you two different studies. The first is about embodied cognition, and it kind of proves what we intuitively know and what we saw in those two photographs, that clothes affect your psychological state. What we discovered in this study is that it also affects your results, and it affects the results of the people that you're meeting with. And this is very interesting and also very poignant for right now, since we're doing so much of our interaction on Zoom. So when you're making a first impression, you're walking into a room in normal times, now you're showing up on video. And that first impression kind of determines what people think of you. The interesting thing that they found out in this study is that it also determines how you feel about yourself. So they put white coats on doctors, they sent them into the consultation room, and then they took a survey of how the doctors felt about their own performance and how the patients felt about their performance. And then they sent them into another consultation room without the white coat. And interestingly, and you can probably guess, that the white coat made a difference. Both for the doctors themselves, they felt they'd done a better job, and for the patients. Why? Because the white coat is sort of the symbol of a doctor. It's scientific inquiry, it's blank slate, it's, you know, looking at things fresh. There's a color meaning, there's a cut, there's a sophistication, but the white coat itself is not magic. So they also did this with artists to see if the white coat had something about it that made it, you know, magical, but it didn't. It was in this particular situation. So what we need to figure out for you is, what is your white coat? You know, for me giving a presentation, this shiny bomber and this dress is my white coat. It's the thing that makes me feel really ready to go. So the next study I want to share with you is called the Air Force Pilot Study. And what they did is they took a group of people and they put them in Air Force pilots' uniforms, put them in a simulator, and had them read some numbers and letters off a wing. They took those same people without the uniform, put them in the simulator, and had them read the letters and numbers off the wing. Now, what they were doing and what the study subjects didn't know is that they were testing their eyesight to see if it made a difference to be in the situation or if the clothing actually made a difference. And would you believe that when they were wearing their Air Force pilot's uniform, their eyesight actually improved? Now, this drives me, it just like blows my mind. Every time I tell this story and share about this study, I can't believe that actual eyesight improved. And I think for us now in this moment of crisis, if we can do anything to make ourselves feel better, to make our results better, to make the people who are meeting with us feel better about meeting with us, and to make our eyesight improve. Now, why did it work? Because we know that Air Force pilots have really great vision. I know that when I put this dress on and when I put this bomber on, I give a great presentation. So it has to do with priming the mind for success. I'm not saying that putting on an Air Force pilot's uniform means that you can fly the plane. I've got Leo DiCaprio here in To Catch Me If You Can. That was an amazing situation. If you don't know the story, definitely look it up. But you still need your skills, you still need your education, you still need your experience. But we all know that some days we function better than others. And if we can actually control for that, why not? So I want you to just imagine for a moment. I've got Robin here in this photograph. She's wearing this beautiful dress. She feels great in. The necklace is framing her face. She's got these great peep toe shoes. You can tell just by looking at her that she feels 110%. And I want you to imagine for a moment, just close your eyes and imagine for a moment the outfit that makes you feel the most powerful, the most confident, the most competent. And get that feeling in your body. And it's almost like there's a little tingle to it, right? Like you feel good. And you can imagine that feeling that you feel in that outfit. And then as you're imagining it, I want you to expand it and ask yourself, what would it feel like if my entire wardrobe felt this way? If no matter what you put on, you felt that tingly feeling. I'm guessing you don't feel that tingly feeling in your sweatpants, right? There's a way to be comfortable and get that tingly feeling at the same time. You don't have to be suited up. You don't have to be wearing heels, although that does do it for me. You have to be wearing something that makes you look and feel good. Just sit with that for a minute. Okay, so now I want to share with you my formula for making it easy. And hopefully this will inspire you to take a look at your own wardrobe and the outfits that you have been wearing and what you could be wearing to make yourself get that tingly feeling. So first I want to just explain how the formula evolved. When I started out as a stylist, I was taking people, for one-day sessions or half-day session to go through their wardrobe or to go shopping. So I would show up, we would talk about what their vision is, what they wanted to look like, and 100% of the time, the clients that I was working with had no idea. They had no vision. They could tell me exactly what they didn't want. And we would get into this very negative space of like, I hate this, I don't want to wear this, da 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 da. But they could not tell me what they did want. They were looking to me for that. But what I wanted was to be able to elicit some authenticity. I wanted to be able to elicit what makes you comfortable, what makes you feel good. Because we all know you can have style done to you. You can, put a jacket on that looks great, but if it doesn't feel good, you're not going to continue to wear it. So what I wanted was to come up with a process that would help make this dial up of the style stick. So I went looking for one, but I couldn't find it. All I could find was books on it girls and fashion icons, and then books on how to clean out your closet. But there wasn't anything in the middle. So I went and created it based on design thinking. So first we start out with what flatters you. And here we've got Robin again with her incredibly luminous skin and beautiful twists. And she's got this great color palette that she has to work with. She was mostly staying in the grays and blacks and blues. She did not realize that she had this whole beautiful palette of color to work with. And as soon as we started working together, she started to explore all these rich, beautiful colors, and her life started to change. Now, I'm not saying that the colors made the change happen. She obviously was looking to make some changes anyway. What I'm saying is that they helped. And anything that you can do to help your growth and your discovery and your journey in life is worthwhile. Now, there are 5 elements to what flatters you. Color is only one of them. There's also your body type, there's your face shape, there's your facial analysis, which has to do with the features on your face with the negative space on your face. There's your hair texture. So all of these elements combine to clearly elucidate what flatters you. And if you walk away with nothing else from our presentation today, from my presentation today and our time together, it's that all of this is just data. It's just data. So you can know exactly what neckline, exactly what hairstyle, exactly what earrings, exactly what eyeglasses, exactly what cut of clothes, exactly what colors, what textures, what patterns, what fabrication. Everything is determined by these 5 elements. Now, obviously, there are a lot of choices within that data, and that's where we get to narrow it down a little bit more. And this is what separates me from most stylists to create your personal style. This is where we get into the authentic you. So here I've got Christine. She wanted to be able to come home from work where she was all suited up and change into something that felt good at home. And I'm guessing for a lot of you, you're looking for that work from home vibe. Now, for her, this was play, but you could also incorporate some of these elements into your work from home look. So we went with a color story that was very simple and monochromatic. We chose different shades of tan because you can tell she is pretty low contrast in her hair and skin and eyes. So we did these different shades of tan to really lean in on this concept of being approachable, because what she wanted was for her kids to be able to come up to her and cuddle with her and spend time, so that time together was really quality time. We leaned in further on approachable by going with flat textures, simple cuts, and this monochromatic color palette. And then we dialed up compassion with cashmere, with wrap styling, with this flowing fabric. So she's got this open cardigan that she could cuddle up with. It was soft to the touch and felt good on. On bottom, she's got ribbed velvet leggings and funny slippers. So that could be your work from home look if you need to amp up the comfort and approachability factor. Finally, we've got your dream. And this is the third and maybe almost most important part of the formula. So we've got the data, we've narrowed in on your core values and gotten your colors and your style language. And then we have to put it all together into something that's really going to set you up for success throughout your lifetime. So here I've got Shannon. She was a yoga instructor and she had become a nutritionist, and she wanted to start teaching about holistic health. She wanted to be able to go from a yoga class to a speaking engagement, maybe a lunch and learn, and have it be seamless. So we found this beautiful green dress in her wardrobe, cost her nothing. She already had it. We found this beautiful necklace that had a really interesting personal story for her. It was made by a friend. It was a socially responsible nonprofit. So great conversation starter. And she can wear this big chunky necklace because she's got these beautiful curls and big wide face and beautiful big features. And the brown is grounded, the green is growth, the dress is shaped to her body, it's cotton, it breathes. So it really is in line with her whole core value and message. And it took her through from yoga instructor and nutritionist to now becoming a teacher, and supported her vision of herself as an educator in all of these different ways throughout her life. So that's the formula. What flatters plus what batters plus your dream equals personal style. And I want to encourage you to clarify your 5 elements. Prime your core values. Think about what matters to you and the message that you want to send. And you can use that to literally manifest your dream on a daily basis, even during this crisis. So what I do is I teach style as a skill. So it just becomes another arrow in your quiver that you can just take out and use whenever you need to. All right, so the key takeaways from this presentation, starting with Carol Dweck's great quote about 40% of your happiness having to do with the way you see yourself and the corresponding choices that you make. And I think especially during a crisis period, it's important to note that 40% of your happiness is within your control, and it is a mind game. So you can use style as a primer, and now that you know about it, it's actually a prompt to change the conversation that you're having with yourself, whether it's through color or fabrication or cut, or just putting together some outfits that make you look and feel good so that you have something easy to grab in the morning and you get out of the sweats and into something that really is like style as your superpower. And then finally, the personal style formula makes it easy for you. You can focus in on those elements that really flatter you, really think about your core values and how to make style your superpower, and then manifest your dream. Bottom line, you are in control. This can be sustainable both from a time perspective and a budget perspective. You can do this over time. You can snatch pockets of time to create outfits, and I can teach you how to do all of that. All right, so speaking of which, I have a gift to share, which I mentioned at the beginning. I want to offer you some time with me. This is completely free. It is my pleasure to sit and talk with you about your style challenges, to help you acknowledge them, to really talk through what's been getting in your way, because sometimes that's really all you need. But in case you need some tips and tricks, I'm going to go further. So we're going to clear those blocks out of the way. I'm going to help you with some tips and tricks that are specific and bespoke to you to really get you started, give you that extra nudge of my expertise to get you started on your personal style journey. So I invite you to use the URL http://bit.ly/call Allison. Call Allison, Allison. Use that URL to book a half-hour slot with me. It's completely free. And I think this virtual summit is going live on the 31st. So you'll notice I am going away, so my calendar is pretty booked up in August, but you should be able to find some slots in September and October, and we can get you started on your personal style journey. When you book your time, you'll also immediately get my personal style starter series, so you can learn a little bit more about my formula. All right, so thank you so much for spending this half hour with me. If you want to connect with me, I'm on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn. So I'm Allison_Daily Outfit on Instagram, @Daily Outfit on Twitter, Allison @Daily Outfit on Pinterest, and then Allison Hamilton-Rohe on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me in any of those places. Sorry, I'll try to not touch the, there you go. Now you can see it. Okay, you can write those down. And I think also on my speaker dashboard, there are links to my different social media. So you can feel free to follow me. I am so looking forward to talking with you one-on-one, and I hope that you take advantage of that offer and book some time with me in September or October. All right, so let me stop sharing my screen and just thank you so much for spending the time with me here today. It's been such a pleasure to chat with you, and I hope that this has given you some inspiration, has taught you a few things about style, and given you some actionable tips to walk away with, including booking your time with me. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.